Pick up a wine bottle and flip it over. Right there at the bottom, pushed up into the glass, is a deep, circular indent. Not a scratch, not a manufacturing defect. Every wine bottle has it. Cheap wine, expensive wine, champagne, rosé, they all share the same strange feature. It even has a name. It is called the punt. So why is it there? Ask 10 different people and you will get 10 different answers. Some say it is to collect sediment, some say it is a trick to make the bottle look bigger than it is, some say it is purely decorative, and some people have never noticed it at all. The real answer is older and more interesting than any of those guesses. It goes back centuries to a time before machines made glass, when every single bottle was shaped by a single person blowing air through a long metal pipe. Welcome to Black Box Tales. Today we are cracking open the punt to find out why a glass-blowing technique from the 1600s is still shaping the bottle you opened last weekend. To understand the punt, you have to understand how glass bottles were made before the Industrial Revolution. There were no molds, no machines, no automated production lines. There was a furnace, a long metal blowpipe, and a craftsman. The glassblower would gather a molten blob of glass on the end of the pipe and blow into it, rotating constantly to keep the shape even. As the bottle took form, there was a practical problem. The bottom of the bottle, where it needed to stand flat, was the last part to be finished, and the very tip of the bottom, the point where the blowpipe had been attached, left a sharp raised spike of glass right in the center. If you set that bottle down on a table, it would rock, it would tip, it would be completely unstable. So, glassblowers developed a simple fix. Before the glass cooled, they used a tool called a punt rod to push that sharp central point upward, inverting it into the base of the bottle. The spike disappeared inside. The outer rim of the bottom became a flat, stable ring the bottle could rest on. That inverted dome is the punt. It was not designed, it wasn't engineered for any grand purpose. It was a craftsman's solution to a very immediate practical problem. Push the flaw inward, and it disappears. But here's where it gets interesting. When machine manufacturing eventually replaced hand-blown glass in the 1800s, the sharp central spike was no longer a problem. Machines could produce a perfectly flat bottom without any of the issues glassblowers faced. The punt was no longer necessary. And yet, it stayed. Not because of tradition, but because engineers discovered it was actually doing something useful. A wine bottle is under pressure, not dramatically like a can of soda, but enough that the shape of the glass matters. A flat-bottomed bottle concentrates stress at a single point in the center of the base. Over time, under pressure, that flat center can flex or even crack. The punt solves this by turning the base into an arch, and an arch is one of the strongest structural shapes in engineering. The same principle holds up Roman aqueducts and cathedral ceilings. Applied to the bottom of a wine bottle, it distributes pressure outward toward the thick rim instead of concentrating it in a weak flat center. This is especially important for sparkling wine and champagne, where the pressure inside the bottle can reach 5 or 6 times the pressure of the atmosphere outside. A flat-bottomed champagne bottle would be a structural liability. The punt is not decorative, it is load-bearing. There are other theories too, and some of them have merit. A deep punt does create a ring-shaped valley around the base where sediment in older red wines can settle without being disturbed when you pour. Sommeliers are trained to grip the bottle with their thumb inside the punt, which gives a more controlled and stable pour. And yes, a deep punt does make the bottle appear larger from the outside than it really is, which is a minor marketing advantage that no one in the wine industry is eager to advertise. But none of those explain why the punt exists in the first place. They are side benefits of a shape that was born in a glassblower's workshop hundreds of years ago and proved too useful to ever abandon. So the next time you finish a bottle of wine and flip it over, you are looking at a direct line back to a craftsman standing at a furnace, solving a problem with the tools in front of him. The machine replaced the craftsman, but it kept the solution. That is the black box. Something ordinary on the outside with something extraordinary happening inside. If you enjoyed opening this one with us, hit the like button and subscribe to Black Box Tales for more stories about the hidden engineering in everyday objects. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.